All right, good afternoon, quantitative reasoning class. This is Mr. Bear. I am in here with you right now, but as you can hear, even in my voice now, I'm not feeling so great, and I didn't really want to miss school, but I wanted to at least make sure that I did what I could to take care of myself as well. So anyway, I'm making this video, and you're going to watch this video and you're going to do the practice problems, and then I'll still be here, of course, if you have questions to ask, but what I need you to do is be able to watch this video to be able to understand the concepts for today. You will be using Desmos for a lot of today's work, so make sure you have access to Desmos. All right, so you've started with your bell work. By now, you've probably finished your bell work, so now you get a chance to check your answers. So for question 1, you plug into your compound interest formula, and then you would subtract your answer from 10,000 to get your interest. Bank 2, same type of thing. And then you're supposed to answer the question about which bank should you use. In this case, you'd want bank 2. You have lower interest and lower payments. Okay. All right, so now we're going to put our notes into our notebooks. I'm not 100% sure which page we're on, but you all know how to do this by now. So add this to your next slide here, or your next page in your notebook. 4.2, loans and credit scores. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and show the next slide here. So vocabulary that you'll need to know. First, what is a loan? A loan is money borrowed from a lender and must be repaid over time. Typically with interest. We use loans to finance cars, homes, education, and more. Some key vocabulary. Principals, the amount of money you borrow. Interest is the cost of borrowing money, usually expressed as an annual percentage rate. Sometimes you might see that as an APR. Term is the length of time you have to repay the loan. And then monthly payment is the amount of money you must pay each month to pay off the loan. And this includes your interest. We have a down payment, which is the amount of money you'd pay initially on the loan before financing. And then if we talk about a specific kind of loan for borrowing to buy a house, that is called a mortgage. All right. This right here, this is something that you are going to want to make sure you set up on your Desmos, okay? This is how we're going to set this up. So you're going to go into Desmos, the graphing calculator. You're going to type in P equals in one line, R equals in another line, N equals in another line, and then you want to use this formula right here. And that is the formula you're going to use to calculate monthly payment. Okay, so make sure you set this up on your Desmos, and that will help you with every problem that we do today. Okay. All right, so for this here, on this first one, it says, your classmate tells you the details of the great deal he got on his mortgage. 20-year, 3.5% fixed APR with a 10% down payment. His new home costs $136,000. What's his down payment? So for this one, you don't need that formula just yet. You're just going to calculate 10% down payment, so 0.10 times 136,000, which should give you $13,600. That's going to be the down payment. How much is he going to borrow? Well, you're going to take 136,000 minus the down payment. I believe that gives us, let's see, 136,000 minus 13,600. That gives us $122,400. All right, so then to figure out how much will he pay in interest over the lifetime of his loan, this is where we're going to have to figure out the the formula. So the monthly payment what we're going to do first is our P is going to be that 122,400 that we got. R is going to be your APR, but it's going to be divided by 12 because we want the monthly, 3.5%, so it'll be 0.035 divided by 12. N is going to be the number of payments that you make. Okay, so in other words, the number of months you'll pay. So we're going to pay for 20 years, so we'll multiply that by 12. All right, and so then what you do is you just go into your Desmos, and I wonder if I can do this. Let me go to Desmos here real quick. All right, so you're going to go into Desmos. You're going to do graphing calculator. Wish I could do a split screen, but looks like our P is 122,400. So I'm going to type that in. So P equals 122,400. Then we do R equals 0.035 divided by 12. N, for that one, we had 20 years times 12 months a year. So then our formula for the compound interest, or the loan payment, is P times R times 1 plus R to the power of N over 1 plus R to the power of N, arrow out, and then minus 1. This is how you want that to be set up, okay? All right, so as you can see here, I typed all that in. I got 709.87. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to type that in, 709.87. And what we're going to do is to figure out how much we paid in interest, we're going to take that 709.87 and we're going to multiply that by the number of months we paid. So that was going to be 240. So I'm going to calculate that just with a regular calculator. And that means you paid $170,368.80. So how much of this was interest? Well, you take that amount that you just got and you subtract off what you financed, which is the $122,400. And you ended up paying in interest $47,968.80. It's a lot of money. All right, let's go ahead and look at this next one. So on this next one, it says Sarah and Alex are contemplating a home loan for $220,000 for 20 years, annual interest rate of 5.2%. They save up to put 15% down and from then only make the monthly payment. What would the total payback for this loan be? How much of this total payback constitutes interest? All right, so let's first figure out the down payment. So 0.15 times 220,000. That gives you 33,000. That's how much we're going to pay down. All right, so we take our 220,000 and we subtract off the 33,000. And that means you're financing $187,000. All right. Excuse me. So that's our P. R is 5.2%, so 0.052 divided by 12, because remember we want the monthly rate. And we're doing this for 20 years, so you do 20 times 12. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to what we have in Desmos. We're going to change the numbers that we had before. All right, and I believe as long as I didn't make a mistake on those. Let's see. Yep, everything checks out, so it looks like my payment is $1,254.87. Okay, just double check, make sure I didn't mistype any. Oh, 1254.87. I see, I'm glad I double checked that. Okay, so that's my monthly payment, okay? Now, we need to know how much we pay back total, so we're going to take that 1254.87, we're going to multiply that by 240. That gives me $301,168. That's how much we pay total. How much of that is interest? Well, you take that amount and subtract off what you financed, which was the $187,000. And you ended up paying $114,168.80. Okay, so let's label what these things were. So this is monthly. This is total. This is interest. Okay. All right, here's another one. So we are going to, so they're offering a 2016 Toyota Camry for $31,000. If you have $9,000 down to pay and are going to borrow the rest, all right, so we're going to take our $31,000 minus $9,000, which means we're going to finance $22,000 for the car. The interest is 2.99%, so that'll be 0.0299 divided by 12. And then 48-month loan. This time they're going ahead and giving us the number of months, so our N is just 48. So I'm going to go back to my Desmos. I'm going to type in everything here. There we go. Right, and they just told us directly it was 48. My car payment is going to be $486.87. So $486.80. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. $486.86. All right. And it only asks how much the payments will be, so we've answered that question. Okay? All right. Amy is interested in purchasing a 2018 Honda Accord, priced at $28,500. She saved $8,000 down for a down payment. Let's go ahead and figure out what that is. How much did she save? Eek. Sorry. Okay, she saved $8,000. So she's going to finance $20,500. Interest rate 0.035 divided by 12. We're doing this for 60 months. So we want to figure out the payment. So I'm going to go back to my Desmos. I'm going to change my numbers in my formula. What was the interest rate again? The interest rate was 3.5%. Well, maybe. Oh, goodness. Oh my gosh, get to where this needs to be. Jeez, come on. The end, I believe, was 60 months. Yep, 60 months. Payment is $372.93. Okay. All right, now, based on all this, another aspect of this that you will need to be aware of is credit scores, okay? So a credit score is a number that predicts the likelihood that a debt will be repaid on time, okay? So when we're looking at credit scores, they range from 300 to 850. You might also hear this called a FICO score. You can also pull up a credit report, which shows your bill payment history, current debt, and other financial information. And then you could calculate what's called your debt to income ratio, or DTI. All right, this is the percentage that represents your portion of gross monthly income, how much that is to use to pay off your debts. All right, so gross income is your income before taxes are deducted. Okay, you might have heard of gross versus net. Gross is what you get before taxes. All right, so here are a few problems here. Maria earns $3,200 per month before taxes. Her fixed monthly debts include $350 car loan and $120 in credit card payments. What is Maria's debt to income ratio? All right, so first we are going to, I'm going to reopen this. This is driving me nuts. There we go. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is add up the debts. So we have $350 for the car loan, $120 for a credit card payment. So that's $470. So her DTI is going to be 470 divided by 3,200. We'll calculate that using a calculator. Sorry, and we get 0.146875. To make that into a percentage, we just go 2 places over, and it's 14.7. Well, it says round to the nearest whole percent. So actually, we'll round that up to 15%. All right, next one here. Darius makes $4,500 per month. He pays $400 per month on student loans, $1,200 for his mortgage, and $200 on a personal loan. Oh, goodness. Let's calculate his debts. So we're going to take 400 plus 1,200 plus 200. And it looks like he's paying $1,800 a month. His debt to income ratio is going to be 1,800 divided by 4,500. And we get 0.4, which is 40%. And it says calculate the DTI. Is it above or below the recommended maximum of 36%? Well, this one is above, which means he's probably not in a good place. Like, you don't want to have anything higher than 36%. All right, here we go. On this one, Angela's gross monthly income is $5,000. These are her debts. So let's figure out her DTI. I think it's 1,700. Double check that. Yep. Okay, 1,700. DTI ratio is 1,700 divided by 5,000. and we get 0.34. Says, what is Angela's DTI? We just figured that out. It's 34%. Would she likely qualify for a new loan if the bank requires a DTI of 40% or less? Yes, she would qualify. All right, I'm not going to make you do those group practice problems, but you can if you want. But if you would, at this point, go ahead and do your skill check. When you're done with your skill check, bring it to me and I'll check off your answers. And then log into Delta Math and complete the 4.2 IP.